Okay. Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this video. My name is Dina Kendall. I'm super excited because this video is going to be a demo of my very first project as a software engineering student for Flatiron's online cohort. I cannot contain it because it's finally done and it's been 2 weeks. About a month and a half to 2 months ago, I knew nothing about Ruby, coding, online interfaces, APIs, scraping. I didn't know anything about that. So to be able to create something, even though it's going to look very simplistic, if you watch it, I don't care if it looks simple. I'm so happy to get something together and it doesn't break immediately on me. So yeah, without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen so that I can show you. We have a cat. So let's just say you did this yourself, you're going through my code and you kind of have some type of understanding of how it's supposed to work. I'm going to do a really quick overview so you know what you would be using this for to begin with. I created a CLI that uses the Dungeons & Dragons API to create an itemized list that shows up in the terminal, and then you can pick a number off the list that corresponds with whatever spell seems really cool to you and get more information on that. So yeah, with COVID-19 happening and quarantine and everything like that, we've been stuck in the house a lot. And a couple of my friends have been really into D&D. And so it's been really cool to kind of get into something new, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And there's so many spells. There's no way I'm going to know them all. So I figured this would be a really cool way for me to not only learn more about something I want to get into, but to also create something that hopefully other people can use. So we already created this, and what we're going to do is we're going to run ruby./bin/spells, and what that does is it runs the current directory's bin file, which is this right here, and then it runs the spell bin folder, and then it runs the spell file that's within it. And because this is on spells and Dungeons and Dragons, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more mystical versus welcome user, thanks for using my thing, you know, pick a random thing. I wanted it to kind of be like a tome of spells or a really large magical book that you can kind of ruffle through and pretend that you're looking at in character. So we have the welcome to the tome of spells, and it's asking, is it magic that you seek? So let's just say you accidentally ran this, you don't want to deal with it. You can either type N for no, or you could type the entire word out, and then what it does is it then runs the next line, which is the tome vanishes. It's gotten your answer. It realizes that you want nothing to do with it, so it's gone. If you run it again, the bin file again, then it will ask you, you know, again, so is it magic that you seek? And this time you're like, you know what? Yeah, I really would like to learn some magic. So then it says, very well, here are all of the spells of the universe, and it gives you an entire list of all of them that are currently available. Is May 2020. So currently available on the D&D API, and it might update as time goes on. So there might be more than there are now in this demo if you're watching. So we have everything from number 1, Acid Arrow, all the way down to number 319, which is Zone of Truth. And when you get to the bottom here, you now can either enter a number to learn more details about the spell. You can type list to list the spell again, which can be really useful later on down the line if you've looked up, like, I don't know, 10 spells, and now the list of spell you were working on is all the way up on top of the terminal. It's just easier to print out a new one than go scrolling forever. Or you can, you know, exit out of it. So let's just look up a random one. Let's do 54. 54 happens to be Conjure Celestial. It gives you a description, a range, so how far you can cast the spell, and what components you might need. So depending on the spell, you will either see V as in verbal, like there's a verbal aspect to the spell, S as in somatic, meaning that there is a physical component, so you would have to say something while doing something with your hands. And sometimes in the same line, you'll see an M, which stands for material, which means that there is something physical that you need to use to cast the spell. So now we could either enter a new one, which is 46. It happens to be command, gives you again the description, the range, the components. Or let's just say you mistype and you do 676. It is coded to understand that it is looking for input from the user where the integer should only be from the number 1 to the number 319. So it's just going to prompt you again. So like, I don't understand, try again. Yet again, you're trying to break it, right? So you put 900 and it says, I do not understand, try again. So then you realize, if I really want to learn anything about these spells, I have to put in a number. So number 90 happens to be Dominate Beast, and that's a fun one to leave off on. So at this point, you realize that it kind of lists all this stuff over and over again, and the list just gets higher and higher. It gets pushed higher, so you would have to scroll all the way up. So at this point, it might be easier for you to just say, hey, give me a new list, where it will, yet again, from 1 to 319, acid arrow, all the way down to the zone of truth. When you're done using this and you've gained all the knowledge that you need, you can then exit out of it. And since it is a mystical tome that is here to give you more information on spells, when you hit exit, as you close the tome, it vanishes, leaving you feeling more powerful. So hopefully it kind of gets into your head a little bit, where you feel your character getting more powerful with the understanding of what these spells are and what they do. And so yeah, like that was the run through of my project, and yet again, I'm super excited for it. And anybody who's watching this, if you're part of Flatiron, you know the feeling. And if you're not a coder, let me tell you, there's like nothing like it. Not knowing anything about what I just talked about 2 months ago, to understanding the inner workings of it and being able to explain it. So yeah, guys, if you want to, mess around with my code, if you want to do this yourself, use my API calls and everything, you can go to GitHub. Yet again, use my username and the repo, and you'll be able to find it there, and you can clone it in your own IDE. Again, thank you so much for coming here and watching this demo of my very first project. I can't wait to do more in the future, and I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.